Okay, it's Go Vegan with Bob Linden, listener-supported animal liberation media infiltration. You can support this program with a donation online at goveganradio.com, and you can make your check payable to Go Vegan Radio. Mail it to P.O. Box 475414, San Francisco 94147. And today, a special day as we celebrate the release of a controversial movie. And we'll talk to the partners putting Bold Native together, and Tonya Kay, who was in the movie. Denis Hennelly is one of the partners in Open Road Films. He's with us, along with Casey Suchan, who have given us Bold Native on the way now. It's the film we'll be discussing today. Denis, in the past, has been involved with videos on hip-hop culture and animal rights and activism. And so now we look to Open Road Films after this project for a vegan cooking show and a documentary on the Shack 7, Stop Huntington Animal Cruelty, that notorious animal torture chamber that kills 500 animals a day. But we'll get to that. And also today we're talking to the actress in Bold Native, Tonya Kay, who's an in-demand actress, TV personality, dancer, danger artist, author, chef. Where does she get the energy for all of this? Well, she's vegan. That might help, I guess. You may have seen her on your Terror Vision set on CBS, on Sci-Fi. She's been featured in Criminal Minds and Secret Girlfriend and Stan Lee's original season of Who Wants to Be a Superhero. Tonya Kay also on Glee, House MD, American Idol with Rihanna, in Stomp on Broadway, and also co-authoring Raw Nutritional Analysis, the only publicly available nutritional analysis of the raw vegan diet. And you see her in books as a celebrity raw vegan chef. She was the voice of Green Girl in the vegan animated series Raw Man and Green Girl. All of this show business experience preparing her for her most difficult role yet as guest on Go Vegan with Bob Linden. So welcome, Tonya. How are you?
Hi, what an introduction. And I am a little bit hesitant now. This is going to be my hardest performance yet.
Not really. Not really. The only thing is that you and Denis and Casey are actually very bold yourselves in being on this program, which itself is a violation of the Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act. So you're being very public in what you're doing here. So, well, let's talk a little bit. Well, let's talk about the background of the film. How a film about the Animal Liberation Front comes to be. The Animal Liberation Front is considered right at the top of the domestic terrorist list here. And how do we get a film about this, Denis, Casey?
Well, it's been a long road for Casey and myself and everybody else at Open Road working on Bold Native. We started working on the script before the 9/11 attacks in 2001 and have been writing it and rewriting it and sort of revising it as the laws and regulations and everything have been changing in the country. Our initial interest was just in writing something about animal liberation and about the people that do animal liberation. At that point, they had been called the #1 domestic terrorist threat in the U.S., along with the Environmental Liberation Front.
Now BP has replaced them, right?
Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Okay.
As it is, I think the FBI is still more concerned with the ALF than the BP. But they had been called that already prior to 9/11. So that was kind of shocking to us when we discovered that. I mean, our interest was in animal liberation. We were both, somewhat interested in it, not activists by any means at that point. And we just thought it was a really fascinating idea for a film. And we're just dismayed at the sort of attention that was being put on what was essentially a nonviolent group of lawbreakers by the federal government. And, as we continued writing the script and developing the project, the laws just got worse and worse. And anybody who has, taken a look at the Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act, which was the new version of what at that point had been the Animal Enterprise Protection Act, will see that there's definitely a, corporate government effort going on to silence animal activism. The people who our movie is about, which are people who do break the law to take animals out of places of exploitation or to destroy, that apparatus or to cause economic damage in order to slow that apparatus, they don't get caught usually. And so the only people that the Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act can go after are the above-ground activists, people who are speaking out against animal exploitation and maybe causing economic damage to businesses through what had previously been considered legal means, like boycotts, in the case of Shack. And so, it's an interesting time for the film just because I think all these issues are becoming more aware. But for us, the original spark was just telling a story about people who risked their freedom for the lives of animals, which seemed like a really heroic deed to us that nobody had told a story about. And for us, we're narrative fiction filmmakers first and foremost who have made documentaries, but we wanted to tell a story that was entertaining and that would draw people into this world, and that at the end of it, people could say, maybe I don't agree with their tactics, maybe they are breaking the law, I don't think that's the best way to fight for animal rights, but they're not terrorists. And to call them that is really an abuse of the word, because terrorism is an extremely serious thing, and nobody hates violence and terrorism more than us, and we hate to see the word cheapened being used against people who are basically compassionate.
Compassionate and nonviolent, those who do activities in the name of the Animal Liberation Front are dedicated to not harming any human or other animal.
Oh yeah, that's a dictate of the ALF. They cannot take any action that would harm any animal, human or non-human. Which, as we say, is that's a track record that they've kept to, and that's a track record that's unmatched by any organization, including the FBI. Who, I have a lot of respect as well for the FBI and the work that they do, but they have hurt people, inadvertently in some of their work, and that's something that the ALF has never done.
And what was your perspective on this then, Casey, in approaching the film?
I think our intent, with any of the work we do, is to try to take people who feel like outsiders or maybe fringe, and introduce them to the world in a way that people can look at these people and say, I understand where you're coming from, I understand what you're about, and I see how that's not that much further from where I am. That was always the approach we took with the hip-hop movies that we made.